Hello, guys,
And welcome to the Heltti webinar. Today we are going to talk about setting and reaching goals. My name is Ilona Parviainen and I'm working here in Heltti as occupational health psychologist.
and my name is Mari Laari, and I'm also an occupational health psychologist.
All right, and today's agenda. First, we talk about why we should have goals or why we should be aware of our life directions where we want to head in. And then we also talk about values, and you will learn how to set goals that are based on your values. And then we talk about ideas. We might have different ideas, or this is important for me, and then we go through how to make it action plan. Talking about also motivation, how to find the intrinsic motivation to reaching the values and the goals. And also about challenges, how we should face the challenges. And what about then when we have reached the goals? So this is the agenda. Welcome.
Okay, so why is it actually so important to have goals in life? First of all, the goals guide our actions. When we have goals, it helps us to plan our actions, and it helps us to get where we want to get. And without any goals, we can end up anywhere. And also we can be guided by our sudden moods or sudden desires, and then we are somewhere else than we actually would like to be. So secondly, having goals actually helps us to increase control over our own life, and it helps us to get where we want, and it helps us to reach the things we think are important to us. And according to some research, having goals actually increases happiness and well-being, and of course efficiency is getting higher when we have goals, so we can have plans on what we are going to do and when, and it helps us to prioritize our tasks and other actions. And also motivation is easier to get when we have goals and we just don't do random stuff that we like to do. So it's very important to have that.
Yeah. And I think people are a little bit different. Like some people want to have like so many goals, so like straight and clear directions, and other people they enjoy just having a few goals.
Yeah.
But today we talk about like finding some kind of goal, some kind of directions.
Yeah. And here's a picture of areas of life. There can be some areas that are important to you that aren't in this picture, but usually people mention these when we talk about what are the different areas in people's lives. And usually when we make goals, they are concerning some of these areas. And now I want you to take a moment and think about the areas in your life. And you can rate these by giving them a number from 1 to 10 according to are these areas like you would like them to be, or is there something wrong, or do you have problems in different areas? And 10 would be the situation where this area is perfect. It's just the way you would like it to be, and you're very satisfied with it as it is. And then 1 would be that it's a mess. It's completely opposite from what you would like to be, and there is a lot of work to do with that area. And then also you can think about how motivated you feel to improve these areas of life. And you can mark down your motivation as a number as well. So 10 would be that you're super motivated and you're actually already decided to improve some of these areas, and one would be that you're not interested at all in improving this area, and it's not meaningful for you at the moment. And then based on these evaluations, you can choose maybe one goal, and then you can base it on whether it's not perfect at the moment, like you would like it to be different, and you are also quite motivated to improve that area at the moment. And for example, you can have goal for increasing physical activity, like exercising more, or it can be about self-development. For example, you can try to improve yourself professionally, like work related, or something else. But it's important to choose the goal that's somehow meaningful to you, and you also find motivation to improve it. So it's your own choice.
Yes, and I think you will benefit the most about this webinar if you have one goal at the moment, and you will work with the goal during this webinar. So just pick something.
Or you can watch the recording after and do this later. But it's if you already have some goal in mind, you can keep that during this webinar. And now in this picture, it shows that there are kind of three aspects of the goal that you should figure out before starting to do actions towards that goal. So what means the goal that you set out loud, like increasing the physical activity or exercise, or another example about self-development, what can be that you want to improve your working skills, or you want to improve yourself professionally. And then the how circle includes the actions, how you're going to reach that goal. Like on that exercise example, you can think of what kind of sports you like, or what kind of exercise you like, you like it, or you can think of how you are as a person and what would suit you well. And also you can think of what is the perfect time for you to exercise, like do you like morning exercising, or are you more like a night person doing sports in the evening. And then on another example of self-development, how could be, you can think of what kind of training programs you could participate, what are the aspects of your professional skills you would like to improve, or what is your career path you would like to follow, what are the next steps, what is the next position you would like to have, maybe these sort of things. And then comes the most important. So you have to know why you want to reach that goal, and that's how you get the motivation to do the everyday actions towards the goal, because always it's not always very fun to do those things, and that's why we need to know why we want to reach these goals. And to help you with this why question, Ilana is going to tell you something about values.
Thank you, Mari. So when we're talking about values, it's really important to understand what is the value actually. Maybe for some people, value may feel like, okay, like it can be like there's something really big or something really vague, but when we are talking about values, it's just something what is meaningful, what is important for you. It can be your family, it can be self-development, it can be healthiness, it can be something that matters to you. And when we're talking about values, it's it's like something we take steps every day towards to the value. For example, if my value would be like being friendly, I would do every day some kind of actions where I'm being friendly. And how values are different than goals. It's like you can reach a goal. You can say, okay, I have this. I want to buy a house, for example. And when you have bought it, that's like checked and it's done. But values is different. You can never say, now I'm friendly enough and kind of forgot the value. So think about values more like a compass. You just take steps towards there. But since we're talking about goals today, it's really important to set the goals based on your values. So for example, if self-development would be my value, I would take goals like, okay, read this book, take this course, do these kind of actions. And how you can, like why these values are so important, it's because when you act according to values, when you do actions that you really value, you get well-being. It brings you happiness, it brings you joy, it brings you something like your life is meaningful. And on the other hand, when you do something against your values, you feel misery, you get like something is not right in the life. And what is really important or really interesting is you don't necessarily, you may be like you're not aware of your values, but you still get these emotions. And that's really good. Also, like in your life, if you experience like negative emotions, that can be like small hint, like you are not living according to your values. All right. And then now we have talked about the values, and then we go to the goal, how to set the goal based on the values.
Yeah, and there are a few definitions you should do to make the goal smart. That comes from the letters, from these words. But smart is also a goal that's reachable. So it's easier to reach and follow your path when you have these things worked out. So the goal should be specific. It's easy to tell someone, like my goal is to increase exercise. That's very easy to say, and it's quite clear. And well, self-development can be a goal as well, but maybe there is something that you should specify more, like I want to improve certain skills, for example. Then it should be somehow measurable. The amount of exercise is very easy to measure, of course. It's just something you can mark down in your calendar or use an exercise app or whatever. That's quite easy to measure. And in self-development, there should be something that you have already said before, like now I want to improve my skills on this certain area, and then you can maybe write a diary of your learning or discuss about your learning with your supervisor or colleague or friend, and that's the measurement there. And then, of course, the goal should be attainable. So the goals shouldn't be too far away from your reality, because otherwise you will lose the motivation. So it should be like far enough, but still close enough for you to reach. And then it should be relevant. Like Ilona said, if you base your goals to your values, it's of course relevant to you, and then it's more meaningful, and you find more motivation to reach that goal. And then it should be also some kind of there should be some kind of time limit when you want to reach the goal, or what are the like the steps when you are going to be where in your goal. If the goal is just increasing your exercise for that you want to exercise 3 times a week, then of course it can be a continuous thing that you will continue until the end of end of year or for the next decade. But somehow you should have checkpoints where you check where you are going.
So I think what is important to realize with this model is, are you actually using this? I think many of us have heard these SMART goals before, but when you think about your own goals, is it really like this? And our challenge to you is make it like this. At least, if not all, at least 3, 4 points make like a SMART goal.
Yeah. And it's also very good to stop and think about what are the obstacles that you could face when trying to reach your goal. And that's why you can also write down a number between 1 and 10 on how possible you think you can reach your goal. Like
how capable you are.
Yeah. And do you have a lot of obstacles, a lot of things stopping you from doing this? And if the probability of reaching the goal is quite low, then you can think of maybe adjusting the goal a little bit, maybe make it more easy for now until you have a different kind of situation in your life. Or then you can just think of if these obstacles are something you can erase. Like, for example, the exercise example is very easy to apply here. People can think of situations where when should I exercise? Like people can say that I'm usually very tired when I go home from work, and then I go to my couch and watch TV, and then I cannot stand up anymore from there, and I cannot go to the gym or jogging. And then the perfect plan would be timing the exercise just after work. Like you go to the gym directly from work, so you don't have the couch issue there. And many other challenges can be like you can go around them if you know them beforehand already.
Yeah, and we believe you are the best expert of your own life. So just take time to reflect what have been the obstacles beforehand, so you can prepare for them and overcome. And this is like something like very basic psychology. The question is why we don't always feel like it, why we don't always have the motivation. So when we talk about, or when we take a look how like what people are, how is our mind working, we realize we have thoughts, so it's something that we think. Then we have behavior, it's something that we do, and we also have emotions. And that's like the like the basic things. And when we think about the different thoughts, we might have 60,000 different thoughts every day. So that's a lot. And at least half or even more of them might be negative, because just that's how our mind is working. And we also have different emotions. So if we think about something, it can lead to certain emotion. And different emotions, some of them are like really energetic emotions, and some of them are low energy emotions. And what is really important to understand, sometimes or usually we are not able to affect what kind of emotions or what kind of thoughts we have. We may still get the negative thoughts, even though the value or the goal would be really, really important. But we are basically always able to do something. We are basically always able to do very small action that can actually change the game. And what I mean by that is, if we can change one of these 3, it affects the outcome. We get different results, different outcomes. So the goal there, why I'm saying this, it's like don't get scared if you get negative thoughts or if you get self-doubt. It's part of the journey, but always just take small actions and then the emotions and the thoughts may change as well. And there is also a really good, really practical theory about how human motivation works. We have three different, it's like a psychological needs. And when these needs are met, we feel like motivation, we feel well-being, we feel like satisfaction. Basically, we feel good. But when these psychological needs are not met, we feel bad. And first one of these three psychological needs is autonomy. So every one of us have the need for, like for example, if I'm setting a goal, I want to feel like, okay, this is set by me. It's my own goal. And I want to decide when I'm gonna do it or how I'm gonna reach the goal, what kind of behavior, where. So if I feel like really controlled, someone else is saying to me like, okay, you should do like this or you should do like that, then my motivation goes down and it's not so much more rewarding anymore. And the second need that we all have is relatedness. And that means all of us have the feeling or the need to be cared for, to be part of like a bigger group. We don't really enjoy if we would be left alone for a really, really long time. Of course, sometimes we need that as well, but relatedness means like we understand we are like part of a bigger group or in the big picture, there is some kind of meaning what we do. So for example, if your goal would be like get more exercise, you can ask friends to come with you and exercise together. So then you will meet also the physical need of exercising and then the psychological need of relatedness. And then the third one is competence. So it's also important for people to feel I can do this, I have the confidence, I have the skills. And when we learn something new or when we develop, it feels really good. So that's also a psychological need. So basically you can take a look also your own goals, or you can think about the situations when you have been really motivated or really amotivated. And think about, can you add some autonomy, or can you add some relatedness, or can you add some feelings of competence? And if you do that, you may realize, okay, this is like the intrinsic motivation. So you are actually enjoying the journey when you are doing something towards your goals. And this is also a very good picture how to understand how skills and challenges are related. I already talked about a little bit about confidence and the skills and competence. So sometimes when we have like really big important goal and we are trying to reach it, we might get thoughts or feelings such as confusion or self-doubt, stress, anxiety. We feel like it's not gonna work out. We may get like really freezing or feelings of hopelessness. And that can be a sign that your skills are not, you don't have enough skills compared to the challenges. So the challenges are really, really big. For example, if you start a new diet or new exercise program, you don't know it yet. But after time, when you do it again, your skills are getting bigger or higher. And then after time, you might end up to the comfort zone. So once something is really routine for you, it feels really easy, familiar, effortless. You have a lot of confidence, I can do this. And sometimes the comfort zone can be like you feel it's a little bit boring already. So then the challenges are not really high and you have a lot of skills. But what is the most like sweet spot when we get the flow experience is when our skills and challenges are facing in the optimal way. It requires full concentration, it requires effort, but we get most out of it. It's like a flow experience, then we learn the most. And of course, for some people, some of us are more like we easily get to the panic zone, and some of us we like to stay in the comfort zone. So again, just take a look at your own goals and think which kind of zone you are in. Also, there is the aquatic zone where there is not so much challenges or skills. But yeah, just think where you are at the moment, and should you add more challenges or should you add more skills to make your situation even more rewarding?
Yeah. And here are some tips how to activate yourself if you feel like you don't have the energy to do things that you should do to reach your goal. These are some tips you can use, or if you feel like you don't have enough motivation sometimes, then these might help you out. If you know that the goal is good to you and it's based on your values, but you don't just have the energy or the kick that you would need. So of course, when we create habits, it preserves energy. So it's more easy and automatic to do the things that you already have a habit for, like go, like exercising. It's some people have a habit of exercising Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, and then it's already automatic, and it's more easy to start doing it because you have done it so many times before. And when you are making new routines or habits, you should try to think of what kind of routines you already have, and is there just something that you can add to make it more beneficial for your goal. So if you already have the habit of taking walks, then you can change it into taking a more active way of exercising, maybe jogging or going to the gym or whatever. So use the habits you already have. If you have some part of your week that you usually use for self-development already, then you can use that to go towards your goal of professional development, and that helps you. Or you can make some new routines that you, for example, these are very good examples actually, this exercising and self-development, because exercising is easier when you have the certain times for it, and also developing yourself, that usually we forget that if it's not in our calendar, if it's just something that, well, I will do it when I have time. You will probably never have the time, but if you have that marked in your calendar, it's more probable that you will do it.
And I think what is working really good for me, it's like before breakfast or after lunch or after leaving the job, or something that is really like happening already on my days.
Yeah. And then, of course, starting is always the difficult part, when you just start something that usually helps you to go forward as well. Like in our exercise example, just going outside helps you already. And when you are going outside, then you can go and do some exercising. And of course, the motivation grows when you do stuff. When you go to the gym and you notice that, okay, I'm getting better at this, and I can add some weights, or I learn new skills, then it becomes more rewarding. And of course, the self-development as well. If you notice that your skills are improving and it works what you are doing, that usually increases the motivation. And that's why it's good to measure the success or the steps and mark down what you have already done, and that helps you to motivate yourself to do more.
And usually the flow experience is not coming right in the beginning, but you have to have been doing it for a while, and then you're like in the moment and really enjoying it.
Yeah, and sometimes you can even trick yourself to start something like if we talk about exercising, you can just go outside and take the trash, and then just start walking somewhere further away and do a quick walk, or it can grow up into a longer walk. And you can think of ways to maybe trick yourself into doing something. And then, of course, friends and family and colleagues are very good to help you with your goals. You can share your goals, tell them that you have this project. You can also do things together, like exercising, or with your colleagues. You can share your learning experiences, or you can talk about things you want to learn together as a working group, or um, sometimes it's also good to have some social pressure. Like if you tell people that, yeah, today I'm going to the gym, you are probably it's more probable that you go than when you don't tell anyone. We break promises to ourselves more often than we break promises to someone else. And then small steps. You can think of what are the smallest things that you could do to reach your goal, and then do these often, because doing things often makes it a habit. If you just exercise once a week for 3 hours, it doesn't make it a habit yet. But exercising every day for 20 minutes, it usually becomes more natural to do it all the time. And then remember to enjoy the journey. So actually, the journey towards the goal is more important than reaching the goal. Like Ilona said about values, you can think of goals like that as well. You can enjoy the whole process of learning, of reaching some milestones on the way. You can celebrate when you have overcome some obstacles or learn something new about yourself, and that's why it's good to have the measurements, like the things you write down in your calendar or some app, and you go and check them out. Oh, there were some great moments there, and because the goal is formed based on your values, then you know that all the time when you do things that take you towards that goal, you are living the life that is according to your values. So you do things that are meaningful to you and important to you. And when you reach your goal, of course, that's a very good moment, but it's just one moment. But when you enjoy the whole journey, then you have a lot of great moments in your life.
All right, and then we also talk about the challenges, because that's just part of the journey. We will face challenges. But what is very nice, in my opinion, it's like no matter how far you have go, like no matter how far you are from the original path, you can always take a look at the compass, that means your values, and take one step towards your goal. The goal or the value is never so far that you can take one action towards. And especially when we are facing challenges or difficulties, the self-compassionate attitude is really important. That's a way how we can motivate ourselves and how we can talk to ourselves in a kind way. And that actually, when we are talking about like in a kind way, we are friendly to ourselves, it's like we can make more actions towards the goal. But if we are setting too high demands, if we are criticizing ourselves, it like paralyzes us. We are not able to do anything because we feel so bad because of the uh, like the mean words that we are saying to ourselves. So learn to say nice things to yourself. We all know how to say something nice to our friend when their friend is facing difficulties. We all know how to encourage someone else. So start learning to say those things to yourself. And notice when you are doing good. Be, be grateful all the steps that you have already taken because we know that you're already trying your best. And remember to celebrate those moments when you actually reach something important. Because so many times we are in a hurry in our life. When we reach a goal, we're just, okay, where's the next goal? What should we do next? But just take a like small mindful moment and be grateful. Okay, this is what I have done. This has been a long journey or shorter journey, but it has been a journey and you've been going it through. So celebrate it and also celebrate the personal growth. This journey has changed you somehow. And even though this goals would be really small, it's always worth celebrating. Yeah.
And once you reach your goal, you actually need some time and actions to recover, because whether it's a physical goal or mental goal, we need recovery, because when we go towards a goal or when we work hard for reaching a goal, it usually takes a lot of effort. We put a lot of effort for reaching the goal. So after that, we need some time to recover. And on the physical level, recovery is quite easy. You need to rest and you need to cool down with your exercise. Maybe not stop moving at all, but lower your effort a little bit. And on the mind level, of course, you need to unwind, um, give yourself some mm, maybe easier tasks for a moment, or give some time to make some new routines out of things you already learned. And uh, so the recovery means that your body and mind, it fixes itself, to the back to the normal state. And after that, you can start planning on the next goal. But there should be some period of time when you have some kind of lower expectations for yourself, and you give yourself some free time to charge the batteries, like the picture here shows, that when we are pushing towards some important goal, we can use a lot of energy, and then we need to reserve that energy.
And I think for some people, if we have like so high demands always towards ourselves, it's really hard to decide, okay, today I don't have to be productive. But the point is, after the good recovery, you are being more productive. And this is just, everybody needs to charge their batteries.
Yeah. So here is kind of a summary of this webinar, what we have talked about. So when you are making yourself goals, you need to think of what you actually want. So you have to have the will to do something about the thing you are setting your goal for, and then you have to have also the need. So the change you are making should be somehow meaningful for you. So it's led from your values, and it's about things that you feel are important. And then you have to have enough skills and ways to do it. So the goal shouldn't be too far away for you to reach, and you should have the skills for it. And then you need to figure out what are the steps you need to take, what are the small steps that you can take when it's difficult to go towards the goal, and what are the maybe bigger steps what you can take when you have a lot of energy, a lot of motivation. And then the measuring the change, that's very important. So you know that you are going to the right direction, and then you can also have documentation of the journey, and you can stop and think about the good moments during that journey. And of course we need commitment, so that we keep on going even though we don't always feel like it. Then we can maybe slow a bit down, but continue to the same direction still. And then we need some compassion when we slip from our path, and compassion to guide ourselves back to that path. And when we succeed in something, when we reach some milestones or smaller goals between, we need to be happy about them. And especially when we reach our goals, we need to celebrate it. And after reaching the goals, we need some time to recover after all the effort we have put in the journey.
So now, once you have heard all of this, you can evaluate in your own mind which one of these are easy for you and which ones are difficult to you. Because for some people, different ones are easier and some are more difficult that we kind of forget. And I think it's very good if we are getting better at all of this and we understand the whole process. So that will make the reaching the goal much more easier and also more enjoyable. Because I think we should all enjoy the journey as well. And this is the final question in our webinar. We are coming to an end, and during the webinar you have now learned about your values, about your different life areas, about setting the goal. We have learned how to add the motivation, and we have learned how to make the rewarding journey. So this is the most important question. What is the action? What would you actually do towards your important goal? Because it doesn't matter even though you learn all the knowledge and it's just theory in your mind, but you have to start doing the actions. So just write on a piece of paper or put it to your calendar some kind of action. You can make it a routine, or you can make it a habit. You can invite a friend to do something that will take you towards your goal.
Like, for example, if you had the goal of increasing exercise today, you can go for a walk or go for a jog or a gym or whatever is your perfect way of exercising. Or you can just take the stairs instead of elevator. They can be very small things, but every time you do them, it's good to notice that now I'm doing things that are taking me towards my goal. And if your goal was somehow related to self-development, then you can maybe think of some article you would like to read today, or blog text you would like to read, or it can be a conversation with your colleague or supervisor, or whatever feels natural for you to do today.
And share your tips to your colleagues or your friends or anyone else around you, and discuss about these things. How other people are reaching their goals, what is important for them, what is important for you. I think these are really meaningful conversations as well. And I'm sure you will learn even more tips when you are talking about this. And I think that at least my final thought would be like don't underestimate the small steps. Even though it's just one push-up every morning, in a year it's 365 push-ups, which is quite a lot already.
Yeah. So we thank you for watching this webinar and have a nice day.
Have a nice day and live according to the values.
Bye.